Wish that you were better.
For live.
You are live.
Okay, I think we are live. We are live, Victoria. We're live. I'm going to really quick pin this to the top so more people see it. I'm gonna make it and mark it as an announcement, and then we're gonna dive in. It's funny because this has been a long time coming.
Yes.
Long time coming. And I'm really excited because a lot of people are, I think a lot of people are familiar with you because through ads now, but they don't know the Victoria that I knew a year and a half ago when you were just getting started, right?
Yes. No, they don't. We go way back over here.
Yes, exactly. Cool. So we're gonna give it I'm gonna give it a minute here, Victoria. How I usually like to do this is, ask you a little bit about your story, because I think people can resonate. They see the success now and they see that you're all over the place and you're running ads and a lot of success and getting Dan Henry verified and all these other amazing people you're working with. But they don't know the struggle that it was just a year ago and even a year and a half ago. So I'd always like to start with the story, how you got to where you're at, take some Q&As and then go from there. So everybody, if you're live, first things first, hashtag Victoria so she can get some love. We can get her some love. Hashtag Victoria. Victoria, first things first, I actually don't even know this. How did you get into this space? Because obviously there's so many things that anyone in this world can do, but you chose this space for a reason. So let's take it back to years ago when you first, jumped into this online digital space.
Like PR or just like digital marketing in general?
Digital marketing, because it wasn't PR till last year, right? Or even 2 years ago.
Yeah. So, I think my story is very similar to a lot of people who are listening, very similar to a lot of entrepreneurs where, you don't grow up as a little child thinking, when I grow up, I want to be a Facebook ads expert, right? Like you don't say that. However, as we've come into digital marketing, this is the greatest job in the world. I mean, we have so much freedom. The fact that we're able to, have our employees make our own hours, live wherever we want to live. Like I'm in an Airbnb right next to the beach right now. Right? You too. So
it's funny. I have a maid. Like I'm not even used to having maids. I'm like, this is so crazy.
Ooh, fancy. But the fact that we get to do that, doing something that's so random, like at a party, if you say I'm a Facebook ads agency, like people are going to look at you like you're crazy, yet they don't know all the freedom that you get. What kind of lifestyle that you lead. So yes, I didn't grow up wanting to be a PR expert or, an agency. Much like everyone, I had ambitions and goals, and mine was to be an opera singer, right? So that's what I went to school for. That's what I did my entire life. Didn't do anything with marketing, always had a PR background. So, because the thing is, like when you're a singer, and if you're listening to this and you're a struggling musician, or you have been sometime in your life, you know that if no one's buying your music, you're not eating, right? You don't have income coming in. So I had to learn really quick how to get in good with editors, how to pitch my story to journalists. I was on the cover of magazines. My music was everywhere at a #1 hit single in Europe, all because of my own PR efforts, all because of just the connections I was able to make, because that's all PR is. It's just connections, right? Getting into these big publications through connections. So it was something I always had to do naturally. That's where my background really was. So I actually had to learn the marketing, even though the PR came a lot easier.
And let me one of the things that I've noticed is that there was always a PR in you, because we'll get into the agency in a little bit, but there was always a little PR in you, even when you were running the real estate agency. So it was just a matter of time for you to just go all in on PR.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I want to talk to you about is the pivot. So like, when did you officially start your agency, and did it start with real estate, or did you have other niches before?
Yeah, so it just started, and I think maybe a lot of people listening to this, they feel like they have to pivot too. So I'm glad we're having this conversation, because this is an important conversation to have. Where I was doing, opera singing. I didn't know anything about anything, but I just decided to buy a course. So if you guys are on the fence about getting in a course, I know a really great one. You buy a course, you get in, and you just go all in. And if you're thinking like, yeah, but I don't know anything, guys, I didn't know anything about marketing. I literally just bought a course. So I buy Joel's course is what I'm trying to say, I just bought a course. I jumped in, you know, and I taught and I learned how to do marketing. I didn't have a background in marketing. So I chose real estate because I firmly believe that you don't choose the niche chooses you. So when you're first starting out, like literally just take whoever will give you money,
Mm.
right? Like when
Everybody knows it.
right? Because you don't know what's going to fit for you. Like you don't know what's going to be your perfect niche. You don't know unless you try, right?
Mm.
So I think so many people are afraid to try. And I'm just saying, like literally, I went to every single networking event. This is obviously pre-COVID time. And I
Mm.
was just giving out business cards like, I can do your Facebook ads. I can do your Facebook ads. I had so
Mm.
many random clients in the
Mm.
beginning, but I ended up with realtors because a lot of my, as a performer, a lot of my performer friends became realtors because it's like, it's a personality job, right? You have to have a personality, you're front facing. And I got along with that a lot because that's my background. So
Mm.
I went in on realtors, and within 9 months, I built my agency to 6 figures.
Mm.
So, and here's the thing that I want to tell you guys. If you're thinking, maybe you're listening, you're thinking, maybe I want to pivot. My niche is really hard. Every single freaking niche is hard.
Mm.
PR is hard. Real estate is hard.
Mm.
Every niche is hard.
Mm.
Don't pivot because it's hard. Pivot because you truly believe that I like this better for myself, for my life. That's why I pivoted to PR, because this is who I am. Like PR
Mm.
is my thing. It wasn't because, I was struggling in any means. Like you shouldn't pivot because you're struggling. You should pivot as a conscious choice. And I want to really stress that for people who are listening to this, because how many times do you see people are just like,
Every
well,
day.
this niche is hard. This is hard. Guys, any niche is hard. It's all hard, you know? And
Yeah.
so what I'm trying to say is like, it's hard being an entrepreneur, but look at the rewards. Look where me and
Mm.
Omir are right now. We're by
Mm.
the beach. You got a
Literally,
freaking
literally,
house.
literally. I'm like,
Reminds me.
yes, yes.
Yes. It's worth it, guys. It's so worth it, but do it for the right reasons and just realize that it's going to be hard, but it's going to be
Mm.
worth it.
Yeah, and we're gonna get to like the deep thinking that it took you to pivot, because I know you did not want to pivot. Like you probably could have pivoted a year and a half ago, knowing what you know now. But so you were in real estate for about 9 months, right? I know even we would partner up with Atlas at one point. You're closing clients. At like what point where you're like, man, like I need something new? Was it like the it's always this, and what I'm seeing, like speaking to thousands of agency owners, it's either like a lack of appointments that are coming in or lack of sales. It's never usually a lack of fulfillment. It's more of lack of sales, lack of appointments. I don't know if
Yeah.
either of them were your case. So like, at what point did you feel like I have to make the switch?
Yeah. So for me, I mean, I was riding high with my agency. I thought, everything was going well. We had partnered together for some real estate stuff. And then all of a sudden, COVID hit. Right. And now real estate wasn't an essential business. So I'm sure a lot of people felt the same thing I felt, where all of our clients went on pause or completely just like canceled our services. I think we had like 3 to 5 clients holding on, right? Managing this entire business, having all these employees to feed, and having 3 to 5 clients, still paying you. That's it. So it was a really hard time. And I thought to myself, I need to go back to doing what I've always done to survive, which is PR, because that's always kept me afloat in my entire life, is my PR skills. So what did I do? I went back to my survival instincts and I was like, all right, I'm going to do PR for real estate. Literally, it was like overnight. And I know you know this. It felt like it was overnight. It couldn't have been more than 60 days that I started PR for my real estate agency. And I mean, I was a contributor to the #1 real estate publication in the world. I was speaking on stages to thousands of realtors. I was asked to be an Inman brand ambassador. I was in all these real estate magazines. It was like overnight. And all these marketers came up to me and were like, Victoria, how are you doing that? Do that for me. Do that for my niche. And to me, I was like, guys, this is so easy. You just do blah, 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 blah. And then I thought, this isn't easy for some. It was one of those things. And maybe you're listening to this and you're thinking to yourself, yeah, Victoria, I'm super good at automate. Some agency owners, they're killer at automations. Some are so good at sales, right? Just everyone has their own little thing. For me, it was PR. I love relationships. I love talking to people. If you've ever met me, I've talked to you. We've had a laugh. Anyone who knows me, right? So I realized that was my superpower. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to try it. I'm just going to do a beta with a couple of my marketing friends who've asked me about my services, and I'm just going to see how I like it. I'm going to see how it goes. Well, I killed it for them. Like it was amazing. And I thought, this is what I want to do. I'm going to pivot. So I pivoted. And it's been freaking amazing ever since. But do you see how I did it, guys? I want to break down how I did it. I didn't do it out of desperation, number one. I knew it was going to be hard work, real estate, as well as PR. It wasn't because I was shrinking hard work. And number three, I tested the market with the beta before I went all in. So if you're thinking about pivoting, you got to do those three things first.
That's amazing. So guys, if you're getting some value from this, hashtag pivot, hashtag pivot, hashtag pivot. I want to see more comments. I want to get so Victoria gets some more love. Got it. So I mean, all of it's going to be hard work. And the thing is, I think experience at times gives you like leverage, right? Over, if you're in the real estate market, right? And the thing is, Victoria didn't even start with marketers. Like you guys can notice, she went after something that she was familiar with, real estate. She was talking realtors for over a year. Now she's going after marketers and brands and all these other people. So if you're, let's say the average agency right now, Victoria, maybe, you have one or two clients and you've been struggling for a while. What's your number one tip for someone like, Dan, Victoria, I really want to pivot. I want to go from HVAC to real estate. I want to go from real estate to chiropractors. I want to go from here to here. Like, what are some of your tips? Do you want to like feel like they absolutely have to follow these steps in order to pivot? Because sometimes, here's the thing, you guys are seeing the success of pivots. The other part of the success of pivoting is people they pivot and then they pivot again and then they pivot again. And then 3, 6 months, maybe even 12 months later, they don't even have an agency anymore. So you're seeing the complete, like the 1% that this happened, like not 1%, but obviously a very small percentage. So if someone's struggling right now, Victoria, they've been in the space for a while, they've closed people, they've retained some people, but just haven't been able to scale. At what point do you feel like pivoting is the right choice?
That is a great question, because you're right. So many people are feeling that way right now. And I would ask them first, why do you want to pivot? Is it because, why? Because it's going to be hard wherever. I need to know your why. Is it just because it's hard, or is it because you really don't like the niche anymore at all? Like, what is your real reason why? For example, when I went into PR for real estate, 0 to 6, 60, and I was in all these real estate publications, I basically revitalized my real estate industry. We got a ton of leads. We got so many people reaching out to me. I could have revitalized my real estate agency. I honestly, guys, yes, I'm doing 7-figure run rate in PR, but I could be 7-figure run rate in real estate right now because I had revitalized my agency. It was a conscious choice, because you can do it. You can be a 7-figure agency owner in the niche you're struggling in right now. Okay. Look, how many people, Omir, you know this as well, are like killing it. Some people are killing it, some people aren't. It's not the niche, it's your mind. This is why my first question is, why the heck do you want to pivot? If it's just because it's hard, then it's not the niche's fault. It's your mindset. And we got to fix that first. So really, truly ask yourself, because it's going to be hard in every single niche that you switch to.
When you say fix your mindset, what are some of the things that you feel like helped you fix the mindset? Because, and I'm kind of skipping over because I definitely want to go back to like literally a year ago, because this wasn't the case. And I think, I agree 100%. It's all in the mindset. I know someone that is, I know a few people, I'm sure you do too, that's struggling in life, depression, anxiety. And I told them, I'm like, dude, it's crazy, because some of them, they're usually a lot of them don't have a lot of money. And I told them, if Jeff Bezos came to your house right now and handed you $1 billion, you're happy for a day, a month, a year. But because your mindset's not fixed, you're literally it's going to drive you crazy. You might end up dying, because it's just like that. The money doesn't buy happiness. So I don't think you got into PR because you knew, yeah, of course you can make money, but this wasn't the case 6-7 months ago. So how do you fix someone's mindset when they're like struggling? They're like, oh man, I've done this and I pivoted and I don't know where to pivot. And they're just like, they feel like they're stuck.
Yeah. So when I got into real estate marketing, guys, I didn't want to do real estate marketing, right? It wasn't my passion. I didn't wake up thinking, yes, I can't wait to serve real estate agents and collect leads for them, right? That's not what I was thinking. But I remember thinking, this isn't what I want to be doing, but I know it's the path to get me where I want to be. I knew that. And I just kept reminding myself of that, of like, this is part of the journey. I think so many times, and you talk about depression and anxiety, we compare ourselves. It's just human nature, right? You see people, even like me, may think like, oh, Victoria's at 100K. What's wrong with me? Why am I not? My story's different, guys. Like my story's, I'm single. I don't have, family or a relationship or anything. So I can, take all my time and focus, right? My story is different than someone who works a 9 to 5 and has kids and has a family. Like, don't compare yourself to me. You know, I'm very fortunate right now in my life. We never know what someone else is going through. Here are a couple of things that anybody can talk like about what you should do, but I want to give you some actual strategies. I'm going to give you some real value bombs right now. If you're listening to this, seriously, jot it down, or actually, better yet, do it right now. Okay. These are the things that have changed my life. Some of these habits. Go to your phone, go to settings, go to, I think it's a screen time or downtime, and put limits on your apps. I have limits on all my apps. I'm not on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, or TikTok for more than 30 minutes out of a day, because the screen time will come up and be like, Victoria, it's been 30 minutes, get off this app. And I'm like, okay, I'm off the app. Because if you don't, guys, you're going to start comparing yourself to, even though you say, oh, well, I need to be on it and blah, blah, blah. Yes, you need to be on it to a point. But at some point, it starts affecting your mental health. At some point, you're on it for too long, and then you start comparing yourself, and then you're starting to be distracted, and you're not actually getting the work done. So set up screen time right now. Number 2, get yourself a habit, a daily ritual. You wake up at this time every day, you journal, you meditate, you exercise, whatever it is you need to do before you talk to your business. Okay. I have screen time set up on my phone. I don't see any notifications until 7:30. I wake up at 5:30. So I have 2 hours that are for me. I don't see any notifications. It's all blocked. It doesn't show anything until 7:30 a.m. when I'm ready to start my day. Right? So those 2 hours I haven't given to my business or anyone else but to myself, because if you're not nurtured, guys, you can't give anything to anybody else. You have to take care of your well-being first and foremost. Don't stay up till 4 a.m. and then expect to be bright and cheery-eyed at 8 a.m. the next morning. It sucks, but you got to keep a schedule. You know, why is Jeff Bezos and why is Elon Musk so successful? Because they are successful day in and day out, not just, oh man, I was up till 4 last night, blah, blah, blah. No, that's inconsistent. You know, being successful isn't inconsistent. It's consistent actions taken every single day. This is how you're going to beat depression, how you're going to overcome the anxiety, by keeping yourself in check.
That's huge. Because, I'm like, please take notes. Like, this is great, because I do the screen time as well. I'm actually completely guilty of opening my phone in the morning. And this is one thing I'm inconsistent of, because I tell everyone the last hour of your day and the first hour of your day should not be anywhere your phone. But sometimes you wake up, even me, right now I'm on vacation, I roll out and my phone's my alarm. So I'm going to give you guys actually one more tip. A lot of you guys have alarms that go every morning, and then you hate waking up. I actually wake up to music every morning. So I have a playlist that's playing the night before. I'm like, okay, I want to wake up to music. But I'm guilty of it as well, because your dopamine, I have a lot of you guys message me, because we have people all over the world, right? Victoria, so you got people in India and Australia and in China and wherever else it is. So their night is my morning. So it's crazy. That's 100% true. I think that was fire. That was great. And that step is, Victoria has been doing this for a while. As you can see, this is not something she started yesterday. She's like, oh guys, by the way, so I have a screen time on my phone. This is something that you've been prospering for a long time. So that's great. So now I want to go back to a year ago, because February 4th, 2020, Victoria, where were you? How was business? And because this is right pre-COVID, right? So things, no one knew that this new world was coming up. Like, talk to me about like exactly a year ago.
Exactly a year ago, I was actually in Europe. I was in Europe right before COVID, which is like awesome and crazy. And I thought that I was living my best life. Little did I know COVID was going to really take me down. But I was like, well, I'm making 25K a month in my agency. Ooh, I'm so cool, right? I was like thinking I was the coolest shit in the world. And I was in Europe visiting some friends, and was just working with Atlas to be the CEO of Atlas Real Estate. And so I really thought I was on top of the world. And here's the thing, guys, and why I believe so strongly in a personal brand, because I lost everything like that. And a lot of people did in COVID. I thought I was the shit just for literally at the end of September, at the end of February, right? That's when COVID hit and everything went to shit. So I lost it like that. So did everyone else. But guess why I was able to bounce back so quickly? Because of my brand, because people trusted me, Victoria Kennedy, because I had proven for a year my worth in the marketplace. This is why I pivoted, and within 3 months, I had made $100,000 in 3 months of a new niche. Why? Because people trusted me. They were like, yeah, I know Victoria has never done PR before, but I trust her. I've seen her track record in real estate, and I see her integrity in anything that she posts. I have built my personal brand so that I could pivot. I could literally pivot to a new company tomorrow and I'd make just as much money. I know I would, because people trust me. They know I'm not going to let them down. I'm not going to screw them over. I've proven myself to the marketplace. This is why I believe in PR so much and in branding so much, because if you take the time to build value to the marketplace, no one can take away the power of your personal brand. No pandemic, no economic depression, no anything can take away the power of your personal brand.
That's ginormous, because obviously living life a year ago and then all shit hit the fan, and it hits everybody, right? People are like, even Atlas, which is a super successful agency, we went from 230 clients to like 40 active clients. And we had a team of 20 people and VAs and all this stuff. Like I went from making 5-figure paychecks to like 2K paychecks. Like people don't even realize that, because it hit everyone. Right, because you were able to bounce back. And it's the same thing with Atlas. They actually hit a record month a couple months later, like best month of all time, like 4, 5, 6 months later. 7FA hit record months 4 or 5 months later, because of the brand, because we were able to build that authority. People trusted us. And I think I heard you say this on your Instagram, and I me and you have never talked about this, but I do this all the time. And this is what I teach my salespeople to do. This is what I teach people in the group to do. Everyone. You are the definition of a person that does not reach out and pitch someone. You don't reach out and be like, hey, do you want to get publicized? You build relationships with them and you see if they even need it. And I'm going to give you guys an amazing example, because I feel like I'm someone that's quite ready for the PR. And I told Victoria my situation, blah, blah. She's like, you're not ready. And I'm like, dude, I got money. No, you're not ready. We got to build it up. And that's when I realized, I was like, this is the person I want to work with, because she didn't just take my money. This is why people trust her, because it's not about the money. Now the people that work with her, it's a no-brainer. She's able to close deals. Her team is able to close deals because of the brand and the trust. So that's amazing, Victoria. That's fire. So COVID hit, all shit that hit the fan. You were like, okay, I don't want to do. I got to pivot. I gotta think of something else. Incoming, this brand new agency. How did you pivot from this? Because it's really different. Like real estate and publicizing and going into Forbes and Yahoo, it's like completely different. It wasn't like you went from real estate to mortgage. It's way. How did this come about? Because even though you've done it for such a long time, I'm sure it was still like a really, really difficult transition.
Yeah, I always believe, education is so important, but I believe in right now education, not like what's it called, like, preparing if so, but do it. You need it right now, so do it right now. So I'm always like, as Amir knows, I'm just very much like, let's charge and figure out how it works as we charge, right? So I just thought, well, I could do this. I could totally do this. And I remember like, I think 3 or 4 marketers immediately gave me money. And we're like, okay, Victoria, yep, here, do my PR. And so I had this money, but I didn't know. I was like, what am I doing? What am I offering? What's my thing? So I like grabbed Russell Brunson's like secret, his secrets off the shelf, because of course we all have that book, right? And I'm like thumbing through the pages, and I'm like, how do I do this? How do I, right? But that's the thing. If you're in Joel's group, guys, he has all of this for you. Right? He has all of these things. So you can make a new offer and know that there's something in the course that's going to help you. There's someone in the course that's going to help you, So there I was like, okay, how do I put this together really quick? So I put together this like entire presentation, literally the night before I had my onboarding call. I didn't even know what that was, with one of the clients. And was like, gosh, I hope this works. I hope this works. And so I get there and I'm like, yes, you get all these things and I'm going to do these things. And he's like, wow, I'm so impressed, Victoria. Like, I didn't really know what to expect. And I'm like, I don't really know what to expect. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. So I get off the phone and I'm like, man, I made a lot of promises there. How the heck am I going to do this? I'm like, but here's the thing, guys, that I always ask myself. I always ask myself these 3 questions, and this is going to serve you guys well. And I've mentioned this before in one of my calls. If you're in the 7-figure agency, you will hear one of my masterclasses where I said, number 1, Victoria or yourself, are you not going to stop until you do this? Yeah, I'm not going to stop until I do this. Yeah, I'm going to figure out a way. Okay, 2, if you don't know how to do it, can you find someone or do you know someone who can help you? find the answer to this? Yeah, I'm in seven figure. There's tons of people who've already done it before. I can find help. And number three, are you going to do whatever it takes to do it? So kind of playing off number two. Yes, I am. Okay, cool. Then I can do it. And I did it. I figured it out, you know?
Wow, yeah, I'm like sweating. This is amazing. If you guys are getting value from this, please comment one. I want to see a ton of ones coming in because she usually, when you do these types of interviews, a lot of broad things are being said, but you're getting very specific with a lot of things. So guys, again, Victoria, if you can repeat those questions one more time, I want the people to like hear it out one more time. Those three questions, I think they're like incredibly critical.
Yeah. So you just need to ask yourself, can you do this? Can you make this happen? All right. You know you can do this. Number two, if you can't do it, can you find someone else who can help you? And number three, are you willing to do whatever it takes to do it, to find a way to make it get done? If that's three yeses, which of course it is, then you're fine. You're going to find the answer.
Where there's a will, there's a way, right?
Yeah, don't worry. It'll come exactly as it should come.
And here's the thing, I think Victoria can attest to this. One of her biggest obstacles at one point was sales. So when someone immediately hit her over, she was like, "Whoa, I didn't expect this to happen."
Yeah.
So like if she's able to fix her biggest obstacle, which was sales, it was never really fulfillment. It was not like not knowing people. Everything else is gonna fall into place. So I'm gonna even add one more thing is like, what is your current biggest obstacle that's in the way? If you are able to fix that, everything else will come into play. So for her, it was sales. It was like she's good at prospecting. She has this, she has that, but sales was just not her natural. Was just not her natural, go to. Like for me, like how it is for me. For me, it's more systems and backend, right? So I think as soon as you fix sales, Victoria, like you knew that okay, I'm off to the races. Like now it's go time. Would you agree?
Yeah. And to overcome sales, guys, I just took a shit ton of sales calls. I knew I wasn't that good at it. And so I was like, well, I just need to get like, seriously, guys, I was running my agency. I was having all these employees. We were doing all this and I was still taking 12, sometimes 12 sales calls a day. Wow. 12 while running my entire business. Okay. So if I can do it, you can freaking do it. Okay.
I actually want to talk about this because the people that you got originally for the PR and maybe even for real estate all came organically, right? Like you weren't running ads for a while.
No, I was up to 100K and I reached the $1 million run rate without paid ads. Yeah.
That's wild. Now, obviously you've built this status. You're not 7FA is not the only group you're in, right? We're the best one, but it's not the only group you're in. But for someone that's new, that's not in 7FA, and doesn't have money to spend on ads, right? And I talk to people every day, like they have 100, 200, maybe some of them don't even have money. How do you build that organic traction? What would you do if you had to restart today with no brain recognition? No one knows who Victoria Kennedy is. What would you do?
Yeah, guys. So when you're starting out from nothing, there's a couple of things that you can do. One, I'm a PR person. It's all a matter of perspective. People don't know you don't know anything. And you don't have to know a bunch of stuff. You only need to know one step above someone else, right? So the thing is, if you know lead generation, these realtors or plumbers or roofers, whoever you're serving, they don't know what you know. Even though you think, well, Victoria only have one client. Well, you still know more than they do. You're still an authority in their eyes. So own it. Own it. Make sure that your Facebook profile is set up. You got that profile funnel up. You got a cover photo. People know exactly what it is you do. Do as much as you can to show your credibility. You can do Canva for free. You can make a banner. You guys can put it together. You can look credible. You don't need money in order to look credible. And number two, remember what I said. It's not about like sending a bunch of mass messages that are like, could you want an extra 10 to 15 leads? But like, be a human being. If you're just starting out, you don't even have money for a BA, that's okay. I did this myself in the beginning as well, where I just sent a message and I said, hey, how's it going? Cool. I see that you're crushing it in real estate. Congratulations. They're going to ask you what you do, right? Oh, thank you for acknowledging me. That's awesome. What do you do, Victoria? Well, I actually help real estate agents get, I get leads. I have my own ISA and I help them close more deals. Oh, really? Tell me a little bit more about that. Now do you see what I did? I got them asking me what I'm doing. People are kind. People want to have a back and forth of like, oh, you're interested in what I do? Let me be interested in what you do as well. You know, yes, does it take time? It does. But like I said, everything, it's not going to be easy, guys, but it's going to be so worth it. Now I don't do any prospecting. You know, I have salespeople, I have appointment setters, I have VAs, you know, but I train them the right way because I had to do the hard work myself. So you can't just expect guys to be like, well, I'll hire a sales guy or I'll hire an appointment setter and they'll just take care of it. Unless you've done it yourself and put in the work, then how can you train them to do it right? You know? So guys, really take the time to wear all those hats in your agency so that when you do outsource to different and hire different people, you know what you're looking for, you know what the objections are. You're going to scale so much more quicker that way.
That's huge, right? It's like doing the boring work, because if you want your team to do the boring work, you got to do the boring work. So when I came to Atlas, they were cold calling and they were doing the appointment setting and cold email. They were doing everything that I ever got asked from Joel or Marcos. They did themselves. So I was never like, oh, you guys don't do it. So when you were hiring people and when you got them in your pipeline, your team, they saw that you did it, and then now you're able to scale with because you're able to pass off this work to them. Yeah, I think it's huge. I think organic traction is about building relationships. I'm just imagining how many thousands and thousands and thousands of agencies there are out there for HVAC, real estate, Chiro, all that. And every single day they send out the same messaging, the same line, the same offer. They don't care. It's like you don't care about them. You just want their money. And they know that. Like a lot of these people that are listening right now, like if you guys connected with me, right, about 7FA, I'd be like, dude, you're not ready. Like there's no way of course, can we benefit you? Sure. Same thing with Victoria. Can I benefit working with her? Sure. But there needs to be a point where it will benefit me to the absolute full capacity. And I'm sure if her sales guy is a beast, which I'm assuming he is, he probably turns down more business than they accept. Because she knows, especially with PR, you got to accept the right people, the right story. They've got to be real. You cannot fake. You can, in the beginning, you can little fake it till you make it, right? A little bit with your banners and all that stuff. But in reality, it's very hard to fake amazing progress and results and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's very, what we do in PR is I only do earned media, right? So we do everything the old fashioned way where we're pitching the editors. We have relationships with the editors. And like, I have connections at Forbes, right? I can get a lot of my clients in Forbes, but I can't get all of my clients into Forbes, right? Because I am not the editor. So even though, of course, I have a connection, if the editor says, Victoria, like this client story isn't relevant or it's not good enough or they're not big enough, then it's a no. And that's a very, like you're saying, Amir, like you got to earn it. You have to earn it. And this is why I always bring people up the right way. Like I get them smaller publications podcasts so that we can get the big ones, because people can smell when you're a fake. People know when you're a fake. You got to do it the right way, guys.
And if they don't smell it now, they will smell later. And we just had to go through someone in that literally copied all our testimonials, our funnels. Like it was gross. And that I'm sure other people do that on a regular basis. Cool, Victoria, you're awesome, and I'm so happy you even gave us time. And this has been definitely one of the best interviews I've ever done. So again, thank you so much for joining us. My next question is: so right now we're at a 7-figure run rate. Like what do you see is the future of like your business and just the industry that you're specifically in, with COVID still being around, with more marketing agencies starting to rise? Because I feel like our industry, if anything, is growing by the day, where other industries are dying, right? The print, like more of the old school newspapers are dying. So what do you see like where your future of the agency is, and then as well as the industry that you're in?
Yeah, I'm really excited about the future of PR, because PR has always been sort of like a closed door agency where it's like, there are so many courses out there that'll teach you how to have like a Facebook ad marketing agency, but there's 0 courses on how to start a PR agency. Like I'm like, I don't know, right? The PR people are like, they hold their connections so close to the chest. But these old PR agencies, they're so used to doing things the old fashioned way, like take them out to lunch and network, and that stuff doesn't work anymore. And it's not going to go back to business as usual, even once everyone gets vaccinated. Like this has deeply changed the entire psyche of the world. People are not going to go back to business as usual. Like digital is here. And I think that's a good thing. One, my PR business has never been better. Like it's boomed during this coronavirus. And 2, like I'm looking at this is an opportunity for my agency to really have some control over the market space, because I'm all for digital and I'm coming at this as a marketer, which a lot of PR people just still rely on those referrals and those old school methods. But here's the thing, guys, don't be like me. I wish I would have tried paid ads sooner, because I may even be bigger than I am right now. But I waited so long because I'm like, now I'm the queen of organic and blah, blah. Don't get me wrong. Like, it got me very, very far. But there comes a point in time when you need to accept, like, I'm ready for paid ads. You got to be able to spend the money, guys. Invest in yourself, invest in a course, you know, invest in paid ads. Like, there comes a time when you need to realize, if I want to get to the next level, I need to be able to spend the money to get to that next level.
Yeah, and we'll talk about, a little bit about the 7FA. I always like to give you the sunlight. If someone's is in the agency space, they have a couple clients right now, that maybe, let's just say they're 10K a month, right? A couple clients, and they're consistently at 10K a month. So they're not like one 10K a month magic. When do you think it's a good time for them to reach out to someone like you about PR and getting publicized? Because I know you're working with people like Dan Henry, who are, obviously a multi-millionaire, but then you're also working with like 6 agencies. I've seen people that you work even with our group. So like, when do you think, I'm sure there's almost about 40 people watching right now. So like, when do you think it's a good time for people to reach out and be like, you know what, maybe it's time for me to get publicized and get on Forbes and get on Yahoo and get on all these platforms?
Yeah, once I'd say you have 5 or 6 clients, you know what you're doing, you're established in the marketplace, you need PR. Because here's the thing, is what's going to happen. Once you reach 10K, it's like this magical number. Even when you're around like 8 to 10K, this is what's going to happen. You're going to hear, you know what? You're the 3rd person today who sent me this email. This is the same exact thing. Or, you know what? I just was on a call with someone just like you. They're offering the same exact thing. Why should I go with you? Expect that. If you haven't heard it, and you will have, if you're at 8 to 10K, you've heard this before. And guess what? This is where people stall. And Amir, I know you know this as well. Like, people will reach this precipice, and then they can't get further than that. They get stuck in like anywhere from 10 to 30, I feel like, is this place where a lot of people get stuck. It's like they can't go past, that certain level. They can't go to 50. They can't go to 100. It's like they're stuck.
I think the first stuck point is 0 to 10. I think most people can't get to 10.
For sure. Yeah.
But then the one that I would say, like, the 0 to 10 is the hardest journey, but then the 10 to 30 is where most people get stuck or comfortable, or like things are not working.
Yes. And that's when I think you need PR the most, for your mentality to keep you going, and also so that you can show other people, like, I'm a force in the marketplace. I'm an industry leader. I know what I'm talking about. And it's going to make all your sales calls so much easier. Here's the thing, guys. All you need to do is get PR once, and it'll last you for a lifetime. All you have to do is get into Forbes once, and you can use that logo everywhere for the rest of your life. Every marketing, every ad, every signature. I mean, have you seen my stuff? It's everywhere, right? You can use it on everything. And so you'll be able to track, like, at least some point of your sale came from the branding that you did. It's the gift that just keeps on giving. You can keep repurposing it. I can talk about repurposing your PR and PR all day, because I believe in it so strongly. Like I said, it all goes back to that personal brand. If you have that credibility in the marketplace, you're not going to get the question anymore of why I should go with you and not somebody else, because you were verified, why you are credible and they're not. That's why. This is what's going to let you push past where everyone else is and go into those high echelons of the 50, 75, 100K plus per month, because you've proven yourself. And you don't have to be that big in order to do so. Like I said, 5 to 6 clients, 8 to 10K, you're ready. You've proven yourself to the marketplace. You're ready for PR.
Yeah, and obviously you have the team. It's not some people, like, I didn't know. I thought you were the one running all the articles. I was like, damn, Victoria's really busy. She's running Yahoo articles and Forbes.
I don't write the articles. We have my writers. They've written for Forbes, Huffington Post, Entrepreneur Magazine. I only hire the best. Yeah.
I think it's also cool to just not just to close clients. It's also, it's a cool accomplishment to feel like you have actually accomplished something when you're getting recognized by a major brand like Forbes, like Yahoo and Huffington Post and whatever else it may be. What do you think is let's do this, because I like to kind of balance it. What do you think is an advantage of being publicized by these, and what do you think is a disadvantage? Like, you feel like, hey, you know what, this actually, it doesn't help if you do this. So what's an advantage with working with someone like yours, and what's a disadvantage?
Yeah, well, the advantages are endless. The advantages are, you put money in PR once, you can use those logos for life. Like, you have that credibility for life, and you can keep repurposing it forever. You can always post that you were in Forbes. And like every couple of months, Facebook shows your posts to different people. And you can say something like, yeah, remember that one time I was in Forbes, I said this. So you can quote yourself and link to the article again. So now it's fresh. There's so many fresh ideas you can do to keep on repurposing your content so that people keep seeing it and keep seeing your credibility, right? And like I said, no matter what happens in the world, if you have a credibility, you can use that. If I wanted to start a new company tomorrow, I can use that I was featured in Forbes to start that new company. These are assets. They're digital assets that you can take with you anywhere. Now, as far as con for PR, do not pay somebody to get you in Forbes. Do not pay somebody. This is the con, because people know you cheated. People know. If you've never even been in your local paper, if you have never had a single article of press written about you, and then all of a sudden tomorrow you're in Forbes, people are going to be like, this guy,
Wow.
he's not credible, right?
He cheated.
He cheated.
Yeah.
And this is why I think PR gets such a bad people think, oh, PR or bot, but no. The way I do it is we get you all this press and podcasts before we even go after a Forbes or entrepreneur. This way people are like, wow, he's been blowing up. I've been seeing him here. I've been seeing him there. I've been seeing him there. And now he just got entrepreneur. They get it. They see your journey, but if you're just all of a sudden buying it, one, that person who bought it, they're not helping you with their brand. They're not helping you monetize it. They're not helping you repurpose it. It's a strategy, guys. Don't forget that it's not just about where you get published. It's about how you use that and your overall brand strategy to get you where you need to be.
I actually did not expect that at all, because I thought you were going to say the con. There is no cons. Buy my shit. No, but that was fire, because I think the rep is for sure. First of all, there's not people like you, right? So we're a rare breed where we actually sell with integrity and we believe in what we sell. But I think the rep is definitely. I'm in Forbes. I'm in Yahoo. I'm in ABC, and they have one client, and they paid someone $5K. They use all their expenses, all the thing, and then they immediately go on there. I didn't realize so you guys actually build it up, podcasting, articles, and notoriety, groups. One of the things that you were even asked is can you get these people on a podcast all the time? You want to get them press.
Yeah.
Then they go from press to Forbes and an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And you even said one of the things we posted inside of our group was getting Dan Henry verified. And I talked to you about this a month ago, but I know you've been working on this for a while. So even getting verified is grueling, right?
It's a process. It's a long process, because you got to do it the right way. You got to do it the right way. If you do it the wrong way from someone in India or whatever, it can get taken down. You can ruin your reputation with Facebook. You do not, as an advertiser, you do not want to do that. So there's just a lot of things. You get what you pay for at the end of the day. If you want it done right, you want someone who really is looking at your brand and making the decisions what's best for you right now, where you need to shine, not where they have a connection.
Amazing. If you guys are getting value from this, again, we have 40 people live. Shout out to everybody that's on here. It's a beautiful Thursday. Victoria, where are you at? I forgot to ask.
Pismo Beach, California. I'm literally 60 seconds away from the beach. It's so pretty.
Amazing. That's amazing. So if you guys are loving this interview, I'm learning a lot. I'm just I thought I knew everything about everything. Give us a three. Give us a three if you guys are loving this and you guys are getting value. Also, drop your questions. I know there's going to be a lot of people that are that have questions about PR. This is a new-ish. I don't want to say newish, but for a lot of people, this is relatively new. Now I see Victoria's ads all the time, and it makes me happy. I love seeing seeing the ads, because Victoria, you were organic. Victoria used to post probably towards the end of Q3, Q4. She's closing, and she made it very clear. This is from organic. And me and Brian, I was like, man, she's just killing it in organic. She's so fun. And it's funny is that people are struggling to close people from paid ads. People are coming to them. You're killing it with organic. So that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So
I do have if you're listening to this and you're like, I don't know if I can afford Victoria or I'm ready, I'm actually considering coming out with a course to sort of help people in two different ways. One, we haven't discussed this yet, but I know it was on the thing of things to discuss, but I just recently did a TEDx talk, right?
Yes, it was.
Right.
Yes.
And I got a lot of people sending me messages like, Victoria, I want one too. How did you do that? I want to be on TEDx, right? Because it's amazing. Honestly, it was one of the greatest experiences of my life. I truly mean that.
Right?
Yes.
Wow.
I mean, I grew up, I'm sure we all did, watching TEDx talks and just thinking, wow, that's just this stage that like so untouchable, right? But in the process of getting this talk, I realized like it's not this ivory tower that only certain people can get, you know? Like if you have a story worth telling, if you have an idea worth sharing, you can get a TEDx talk. It's not as unreachable as you think. And so I'm creating a course right now to show people how they can land their own TEDx talk, and it would be very reasonably priced.
That's amazing. And actually, I was watching. I caught some of it. I'm gonna watch the replay because I need to watch it. I paid for it, so I was like, I need to watch the replay. But what's really interesting, Victoria, is that every person that there was like what 20 speakers, 15 speakers, something like that. I didn't know any of them besides you. So what made me realize, I'm like, okay, well, if I don't know them, I'm assuming most people don't know them, right? And just like if I know you, but some people know someone else and they don't know who you are. So I think
Yeah.
the TEDx, we see like the 30 million views and the 20 million and like Kid Cudi's on there and all these famous people. I don't think that's necessarily like the stigma is like, oh, you have to be famous or
Yeah.
you have to go on Ellen DeGeneres and then you got to go on TEDx. That's not the case, right?
No. And I mean, definitely you need to be searchable, right? Like
Yes.
if I put your name in, you should be an author, or you have some articles or something. And that's what my course is going to be about, how to make yourself more desirable. But if you're a normal person, you can get a TEDx talk. Like it's really not as hard as you think. There's just a couple of things you have to do. Have an idea worth sharing, have a little bit of credibility. You can land yourself a TEDx talk.
Cool. So I know we got some questions. We got some questions from people here, the beautiful people of Marketing Agency Secrets. So we're going to go through a few of them here. Someone asks, paying for Forbes feature versus getting Forbes to reach out, which would be better? Because I see a lot of people abusing paid PR for credibility. You kind of just talked about this a lot.
Talked about that. Yeah. So definitely you want to start small. You want to have credibility, you know, and you want to pitch the editors at Forbes the correct way. Because once they see you have that credibility and you have an idea that they were willing to publish, that's the best way to go about doing it.
Yeah, perfect. Someone here asked, so by the way, because I wish, it's not that I don't want to read your guys' name. On Be Live, it just says Facebook user. So I'm just going to say someone, don't get offended. Someone asks, how do you get started with PR? But I think the better question is like, not how do you start, because there's so many PR agencies, but it's almost like when do you start and how do you know that, Victoria, you're the one, right? Obviously, you're amazing and you have a lot of credibility, but clearly you're not the only one. I see, for some reason, I get more PR ads than any other ads out there. It's like they're asking me to like, yo, it's time for you to get PR. So like we talked a little bit more about when to start and why you and not someone else.
Yeah. The thing about PR is you really want someone who has your best interest at mind, someone who's willing to look at your brand and say what you need. Because a lot of PR people, they'll just tell you whatever you want to hear. Yeah, we got Forbes, we got Entrepreneur, we got Inc., that's what they have. But maybe that's not right for you, right? For example, I work with a lot of real estate marketers, obviously, because that was my niche. And so they'd come to me and say like, oh, Victoria, I should be in Inc. And I said, realtors aren't reading Inc. magazine. They're not. They're reading Inman. They're reading Realty 411. They're reading Realty Times. That's where you need to be seen. You don't need to be seen. The Inc. is for your ego. Let's check your ego and let's put you where you're going to make the most ROI. You want somebody like that on your side. Someone who's not just, well, this is what I have and you better fit into the boxes that I have. Right? You want someone who's like, where are you and how can I make you shine so you get the most ROI out of PR? That's what you should be looking for.
And it's also a long-term process, right? So if they start with you today, it's not like tomorrow they're like publicized and they're on podcasts.
Yeah.
Like
no.
It takes 6 months to like get everything and like.
So it's time, right? Yeah, we start with 3-month packages, and then typically most of our clients after the 3 months are like, keep going. What else do you have? And so then we have 6 or 12 months after that.
Yeah, so it takes time. Just like for you guys, when you're an agency, sometimes you're getting good results in the first month for your client, but other times it takes 2, 3, 4 months to actually. Let's talk about real estate, for instance. It's a long-term cycle, right? Mm-hmm. So, so someone, I think you just mentioned this a little bit, but this person asks, not sure if you mentioned, how do you start? How do you start to make media / press connections starting out? I don't know if that makes any sense, but it's more asking like, how do you start this journey? And I think it's finding someone like Victoria, someone that is actually credible and be giving you a blueprint and showing you the plan rather than setting the wrong expectation. Because I think with this industry, more than any other industry, Victoria, is that the expectations are through the roof. They're expecting to get verified. They're expecting to be on Inc. and Entrepreneur and Forbes within like 2 months. Would you agree?
No. Yeah, that's the expectation. But I always have to re-educate my clients of, even if you're on Inc., you're serving real estate agents. They're not reading that. That's not in your best interest. So we need to start small. Let's get you on these publications first. Let's get you an ROI. Let's get you in front of your ideal audience. And then we can talk about the bigger ones, once you have that credibility.
Got it. This is a really good question here. So I have a question off topic from the PR, but he's saying, I'm trying to move into the realtor Chiro niche. I know I can definitely get them leads since I've already test ran it on all that. But how do you guide me to get leads for realtors since that's where your expertise lies? So you use Facebook ads, correct?
I did. And I also had an ISA. And the thing is, that's the industry standard. So if you're going to go into real estate, you need to not only get leads, you need to be able to have your own ISA as well. You need to have your own CRM. So you're going to be able to nurture those leads, have somebody setting appointments for their realtors. There is a lot in the real estate niche that you need to know. So just be mindful of that before you get into that niche. It's more than just getting leads.
Yeah, I think that's huge. Let me see if we got any more. Cool. I think if you guys have any more questions, feel free to drop it. I'll do a couple more questions here. But where can people find you, Victoria? Like where if they go, is it victoriacanning.com? Obviously, please add her on Facebook ASAP. I think you might have hit your friend limit. I don't know if you're the person.
Oh,
I don't know.
No. I know I'm always trying to delete people so I can add more.
I'm assuming
Yes.
I'm at like 3-4K. I'm like, you probably are like near 5K, which I think Facebook needs to increase that to 10K because that makes no sense. 1,000 friends.
No. Yes, but people can find me. I mean, my website is victoriouspr.com, play on Victoria. But honestly, I just like to always tell people, I'm a normal person. You can shoot me a message on Facebook, please add me as a friend, shoot me a message, tell me that you heard me on Amir's podcast and you loved it, you hated it, you had a question. I'm always willing to help.
Perfect. That's amazing. So yeah, that's where you guys are going to be able to find Victoria. We have like less than 10 minutes. We talked about the future. We talked about the past. What's in line for February? What are we looking at for February for you? Obviously, you're traveling. Things are looking good. So what's your plan for the month?
Yes. So I am putting together my TEDx course this month. So people are interested, please drop a 1 if you're interested, because drop a 1 if you're interested how to land your own TEDx talk. I'm putting together that course, so that'll be done by the end of this month that I'll start promoting to people. I
actually had a question about this as well. When someone's bless you, when someone is
Thank you.
When someone is on Forbes.
Okay, I'm good.
Bless you.
I'm good.
Bless you. When someone gets on Forbes or Inc. or whatever article, how often do they have to get a new article? Or is it like that one article active and it's good, they never need to get on there again?
Oh, well, it depends. So let's say you get on Forbes for this one thing, which is your chiropractic agency. Fantastic. If you switch niches, get another Forbes article about that niche. Now, of course, you can use the Forbes if you go into a new niche. I've done that before, right? But I also have new articles as a PR agency on Forbes now as well, because you want people to be able to Google you and see your name associated with what you do on those big top tier publications, right? Because if somebody Googles you, obviously Forbes has a very high domain, so that's going to be one of the first articles that pops up, which is great because your name is being associated with Forbes. However, you do want it to be inductive of what you're doing, of your agency. So anytime you switch offers or things like that, you're going to want to be on those publications again.
That's amazing. I don't know if this is a silly question. Would it be better to talk about the agency and the niche, or would it be better to talk about your story, where you come from, and why they should work with you?
Yeah, you definitely want to talk about you, because people want to do business with people, not with businesses. Right? They want to hear your story, how you overcame things, because then they trust you. And whatever you're selling, they're going to buy because they trust you. They believe in you. So yes, always yourself and your brand.
Got it. So it's better to, when they look you up, they should more talk about your story, where you come from, why you, rather than, oh, I know everything about chiropractic, everything about real estate.
Well, so I do both for my clients because I believe it's part of the brand strategy. So we definitely have profile pieces about the person, but then we also do something called thought leadership pieces. So for example, if I'm pitching, an agency owner who does chiropractic, for example, chiropractic, I'm going to put them in a chiropractic magazine, and I'm going to say, like, 3 things that chiropractors don't know about marketing 2021, which can make or break their agency. Something that, 1, it shows your credibility as a marketer, and 2, chiropractors really want to read. Like, oh yeah, I don't know anything about marketing, I need to read this. So it's all of this education, all this advice, and at the end they're like, this was amazing, who wrote this? Boom, you have a link to your lead magnet, you have a link to your bio, like they go to you. And guess what? Talk about not being good at selling. This is why I was able to build my business. I'm not that good at selling, guys. As Amir said, like, I'm not, but people read an article that I've written and they're like, whoa, this is amazing. The article's done all my selling. They come to me and they're like, you're a professional, you're an expert. I read your article. I don't need to sell them on me. They're already sold. Selling's easy. Selling's done. So just another.
Yeah. The easier the sales process gets, the more closings you're going to get, the less frustrated, the less stressful you get. I think it's like it all like combines together, which is the key. Cool. So Victoria, we got a little less than 30 people left, and we got about 3 minutes because I got a call. I'm sure you got more calls and stuff to do. This is for people that are on the fence about 7FA, because you've been in the program for quite some time.
Yeah.
If they're on the fence, they are looking at courses, because there's a lot of courses, a lot of gurus, right? What do you think makes 7FA different? And like, that's the first question, and then I'll ask my next question.
Yeah, guys, if you're on the fence, I mean, I would be nowhere if I hadn't bought a course and went all in, right? I would be nowhere. You can't do it by yourself. If you think, well, I'm going to get by listening to, free YouTube videos, you're not going to make it. You have to have skin in the game. And that's putting your money on the line and saying, I believe in this 100%. It's a mental thing, guys. 7FA is the best program out there because you have support. Not only do you have support from the coaches, but you have support from the people inside the group who are rooting for your success. Many of my best friends in the marketing world are in 7-figure agencies, so I'm always posting there because my friends live there. Like, that's where all my friends are, And you need to be around people who are doing the same thing you're doing. It's going to inspire you to keep going on this journey, because this journey is hard, guys. You can't do it alone.
I love that. I appreciate it. I always say that what makes us different, it's not the course and hundreds of hour material and we scale an agency and Sergio, and it's the fact that it's the community, it's the support. It's like we just had an event, which you got to come to the next event, Victoria. I'm gonna make that a thing. But so they're on the fence. And then last question about 7FA, like what was the biggest differentiator? Because obviously, again, you've been in the program for a while and you went from two different niches and partnering up with these people and all that stuff. What was like the biggest differentiator for you? And like,
between this course or between
just this course, different courses, and like, again, it's people are always deciding because there's so much out there. There's so much out there, just like there's so much PR out there. So what would you say? What else would make like the deciding factor for someone that's, again, on the fence? They're like, I don't know if this is it.
Guys, there's no choice. This is it. This is it. If you're waiting for a sign, let this be the sign. This is the course you need to get. One, if you're listening to this, you're taking your business seriously, and I congratulate you for that. But number 2, if you're listening to this because you believe in us, you trust Amir, you trust us. We have your best interest at heart. Everybody in the group, when you join, wants you to succeed. Everybody in the group is willing to help you succeed. There's literally no way you can fail. You'd be the only reason you'd fail. And even if you're having problems with your mindset, there's so many people. If you just say, guys, I'm struggling right now, you will literally get a bunch of people saying, hey, you want to reach out, man? Hey, man, I'll send you a DM. Let's jump on a call. You have all the support you need. There's nothing that you don't like. This program will offer you community, support, everything you need to learn. Like, honestly, if you want to make it in the agency world, you have to be in this course.
Boom, said it perfectly. So closing words, Victoria, we got 1 minute left. What do you say to these beautiful people? It's an amazing year. We're just signing out, right? We're just Q1. So what are your last finishing touches, and then we'll end this off.
Yes, thank you guys so much for staying to the end, listening. I believe in all of you. If you need any help with PR, shoot me a message on Facebook, add me as a friend. You can check out my website. If you're interested in the TEDx course, also let me know. I can put you on the waiting list. That'll be out at the end of this month. And keep Good luck, guys. Keep going. You got this. I believe in you. 2021. Let's get this. This is our year.
Yeah. You guys have any questions about 7FA, feel free to shoot me a DM and I'll be sure to connect you. Victoria, I really, really appreciate you taking this time. February 4th. It's a sunny day in my town, in your town. And I really can't thank you enough. So thank you so much.